I have so many favourite people on Sky News that it's just difficult to give them all fair and adequate time on my show. But I'm going to do my best to highlight the incredible insights that they offer into their own personalities, into politics, into life in general, because it's important to be able to extract from the wisdom that they offer. And the first main offering I'm going to give today is of Peter Credlin. Now, Peta decided that she's going to talk about Australia Day and what Australia Day means to her. And I'm appreciative that it has deep rooted and emotional feelings for her. And it was exciting to see her express those emotions and feelings in the way that she did in this clip I'm about to show you. Now, to be quite frank, I found it humorous because it was overacting at its worst. It was disingenuous at its best. And so I'm just going to play this clip for you, and you can decide for yourself the performance that she puts in saying some of the things that she does, and particularly her emotional state as well.
With Australia Day, because this is the day when I stop and give thanks for having won the lottery of life. Because to live...
Do you like that? Let's just start with the lottery of life. So to be Australian, apparently, is like entering a lottery. And that the winning of that lottery means that you have the life that you had desired and wanted. So if you're wealthy, if you're white, if you're privileged in some way, then I guess it will give you all of that. But then there are so many people who don't have the privileges that people like Peter Credlin have. But they don't matter, because for Peter, this is winning the lottery of a lifetime.
Here in this magnificent, wide, brown land is to live in the greatest country on earth. Unlike the American...
I think we need to challenge the greatest country on earth. I don't know what statistics you use to define all of that. Countries like Denmark and Scandinavian countries often come up in front of us. But yeah, we're okay. We're not a bad country, but whether we are the greatest country on earth remains to be seen, and is purely a subjective view.
Americans who have Thanksgiving Day each year to focus their nation on gratitude, we don't have anything similar here, and that's what today has come for me. Part celebration, sure, but also the day when I stop and count my blessings. Australia Day is the day where I give thanks to the generations of men and women who have come before me, Indigenous, convict, settler and migrant, who have built this country and defended it. And I say to myself, I hope I am worthy of their sacrifice.
Oh my God. I think it's at this point that I guess I feel like throwing up. And it's interesting that she mentions Indigenous people, because I don't see much from Sky News, her, Andrew Bolden, others, indicating that they have any empathy for Indigenous people whatsoever. In fact, the Murdoch press is extremely critical of anyone who is coloured, black, Muslim or whatever. So do those people come into this equation of hers about this being the greatest nation on earth?
And hard work. And I say to those who spent today out protesting, you might think you're big in numbers, but you're not. 76% of Australians think like me, and that number's only growing. And if you're part of the activists rent a crowd, if you want to spend the 26th of January angry and screaming about Invasion Day and shame, then I suggest you look around the world and you get some perspective.
Yeah, the perspective you need to get is Credlin's perspective. The simple fact that there are, 75%, whatever it is now, that support Australia Day doesn't make Australia the greatest country on earth. Doesn't mean that we ignore those people who want something different, and doesn't mean that we need to ignore the fact that there are a lot of people in this country of all colours, of all races, who want to identify Australia Day as Invasion Day. But according to Peter, we need to dismiss all of those people simply because, as far as the statistics are concerned, they're on her side, and that is the only thing that matters.
Nowhere on earth is more free or more fair than Australia. Nowhere on earth is more prosperous. Like every individual, of course, our country's not perfect. No country is. There's plenty too that we can improve, sure. But today's the day we focus on what makes us the envy of the world and promise ourselves to do more.
I wasn't aware that we were the envy of the world, but apparently we are.
Or to protect what we love. Today is the day to resolve to make Australia better, because especially in the wake of the Bondi massacre, no one could really say that as a nation we're currently our best self. The Prime Minister today spoke about the need to leave behind the burden of old prejudices and hatreds.
A democracy where every citizen is equal. A country united and liberated by the Australian Covenant. A commitment that every citizen makes to our nation, and a promise our people make to each other, to leave behind the burden of old prejudices and hatreds.
And yet from his mates on the hard left, there's not...
Oh, here it comes. Everybody stand back. Here comes the criticism from the left.
Too much evidence of that in the various protests that took place in Sydney and Melbourne. And for all Anthony Albanese's talk about ending division, there were plenty of Palestinian flags and kafirs out in force today. For all his talk of...
Okay, so we have this notion somehow that from Credlin we are a great nation, the greatest nation on earth. And then Credlin steps into that space and starts to tell us that we're not. These are all the things that are wrong with us. Now, get a grip, Peter. Either we are the greatest nation on earth according to you, or we're not. And she could have spent the whole session celebrating what makes this country a good country. Don't know about great, but what makes us valuable, what are our characteristics that are important to her. But because equity and fairness is not an attribute that someone like Peta would see as being valuable, she cannot bring herself to talk about those issues. So it is pathetic to watch her at the beginning of all of this tell us how wonderful this country is and to be emotional about it and to be so pathetic that then she breaks into this criticism of the things in this country that she dislikes, which is simply every policy that is progressive and on the left. I think people like Peter Credlin give the notions around being disingenuous a completely different meaning. She is so insincere that it is hard to believe anything that she says. And I think this is part of the echo chamber in which the right live, particularly on Sky News and the Murdoch media, that they don't understand that their sense of privilege is unique to them. The rest of the world, the rest of Australia, those people that don't live in television world, those people that don't have incomes over $1 million, those people that don't live in the best suburbs in town, which is the majority of us, have a completely experience of life. And that experience that we have in life determines how we view the place in which we live. And there are some people who feel disadvantaged around all of that. And we're going to hear a lot from Sky News about the increase in the inflation rate over the next few days. But it's not about those people that are suffering as a result of having to pay higher mortgages or whatever, or those people living on benefits. It will be about something completely different, which will be simply an attack on the Labor Party and the government for not doing what they think should be their job. These people have a warped view, I think, of what life looks like for the majority of us. And we, and I in particular, are going to spend the rest of this year pushing back against them, Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Remember to respond to my videos by making a comment and to ring the bell for further notifications. In the meantime, take care.